The Clockmaker's Missing Gear. Hey everyone! Welcome back to Mumtahina's English Learning, your favorite place to practice and master English. Whether you want to speak more fluently, perfect your pronunciation, or boost your confidence for work and travel, I've got you covered with simple, practical lessons every week. If you are ready to take your English to the next level, hit that subscribe button and join our global community. Let's jump straight into today's video. The Clockmaker's Missing Gear, a captivating tale designed to improve your English fluency. The workshop of Elias Thorne stood at the end of a narrow cobblestone alley where fog lingered like unfinished thoughts. Every evening, the windows glowed amber against the rain, and every passerby paused to listen to the orchestra within, the clattering of pendulums, the resonant chiming of brass bells, the meticulous whisper of gears revolving in perfect harmony. Inside, thousands of clocks breathed together. Tick, tick, tick. The rhythm was so precise that visitors often claimed the workshop felt alive, as though time itself had taken residence among the shelves of polished oak and glass. At the center of the room stood Elias's masterpiece, the Great Escapement. It was not merely a clock, it was a monument to human precision. Golden wheels interlocked beneath a crystal dome. Silver hands glided across a midnight blue face where constellations had been engraved by hand decades earlier. Scholars traveled across continents to witness it. Horologists called it impossible. Poets called it immortal. For 100 years, it had never stopped. Until tonight, without warning, the rhythmic heartbeat of the workshop collapsed into silence. The sudden stillness was jarring. A wrench slipped from Elias's fingers and struck the wooden floor with a hollow crack. Around him, every smaller clock continued ticking, yet the absence at the center of the room swallowed all other sounds. The Great Escapement had frozen at precisely 11 minutes past midnight. Elias approached slowly. His weathered hands trembled. "Impossible," he whispered. He opened the crystal casing and peered into the intricate anatomy of the mechanism. Tiny gears rotated obediently beneath his lantern light, except for one vacant space near the golden escapement wheel. A gear was missing, not broken, not displaced, missing. Elias stared in disbelief because the empty cavity defied mechanical logic. The gear in question could not have been removed without dismantling the entire clock, yet every seal remained untouched. The absence felt unnatural, as though a single word had vanished from a sentence while the grammar remained intact. And in that instant, Elias understood the true nature of the mystery. The missing gear was more than metal. It was language. The anatomy of a mechanical mystery. Rain battered the workshop windows while Elias searched through drawers crowded with brass instruments, miniature springs, and centuries-old blueprints. Dust spiraled beneath the candlelight. The scent of machine oil mingled with parchment and cedarwood. Above him, pendulums swayed like hypnotic metronomes. Beside him, unfinished clocks rested in silent anticipation. Within him, frustration tightened like an overwound spring. Elias was a master horologist, a craftsman capable of calculating rotational ratios faster than most men could count coins, yet he could not explain the impossible vacancy before him. He leaned closer to the frozen escapement. The mechanism was breathtakingly complex. The verge pin oscillated against jeweled pallets. The balance wheel remained suspended in eerie stillness. Tiny cogs meshed together with microscopic precision, each dependent upon the next. In horology, every component possesses purpose. Without one gear, the entire structure collapses into disorder. Language operates the same way. Many learners of English know thousands of words, yet struggle to achieve fluency because they lack connection, rhythm, and timing. Vocabulary without flow becomes like disconnected machinery, functional but lifeless. Elias suddenly remembered something his mentor had once told him. Precision is not created by speed. It is created by harmony. The sentence echoed through his mind. Harmony, rhythm, flow. Perhaps the answer was not mechanical at all. Deciphering the golden escapement. Tick, tick, tick. Elias began listening instead of searching. He extinguished every lantern except one and sat beside the silent masterpiece. Around him, the smaller clocks continued their endless conversation with time. Some ticked rapidly, others moved slowly. One ancient regulator clock near the staircase possessed a deep, deliberate cadence that resembled a heartbeat. Thorne closed his eyes. If he had continued dismantling the mechanism, he might never have discovered the truth. If he had trusted only logic, the silence would have remained eternal. Instead, he listened. Hours passed. At dawn he opened his journals, weathered books filled with decades of observations written in elegant ink. Within the margins, he found strange recurring phrases. The ear completes what the eye cannot perceive. Rhythm reveals hidden intention. A mechanism without resonance becomes mute. The final entry, written years earlier by his late mentor, stopped him cold. If the great escapement ever falls silent, do not search for the missing gear. Search for the missing frequency. Elias inhaled sharply. Frequency, not metal, sound. Suddenly, the workshop transformed before his eyes. Every clock was not merely measuring time, it was contributing to a symphony of synchronized resonance. The great escapement required a specific rhythmic vibration to function. The missing gear had never physically existed. It was an acoustic illusion, a hidden pulse, a linguistic key disguised as machinery. The linguistic key to the heart. Elias stood slowly and approached the regulator clock near the staircase. Tick, tick, tick. He adjusted its pendulum by the smallest fraction. Instantly, the rhythm across the workshop shifted. The sound became smoother, more unified, like a choir finally singing in tune. Then Elias spoke aloud. Precision emerges through attentive listening. The words vibrated through the chamber. Deep within the great escapement, something moved. Click. A tiny golden wheel rotated once. Elias's pulse quickened. He repeated the phrase, this time matching the exact cadence of the regulator clock. Precision emerges through attentive listening. Click, click, The escapement awakened. The balance wheel trembled, then spun into graceful motion. Golden gears revolved with renewed life. The midnight blue hands advanced forward for the first time in hours. The masterpiece lived again. Elias laughed softly, overwhelmed by wonder. The missing gear had been intention. The clock responded not merely to mechanics, but to harmony between sound, rhythm, and focus. Fluency worked the same way. True mastery of English was never about memorizing isolated vocabulary. It was about developing rhythmic understanding, knowing how words breathe together, how tone alters meaning, how pauses shape emotion. Language, like clockwork, depended upon timing, precision in motion and mind. Weeks later, visitors returned to Elias Thorne's workshop, marveling once again at the legendary Great Escapement. Yet, Elias himself had changed. He no longer taught apprentices to memorize words mechanically. Instead, he trained them to listen, to notice cadence, to hear emotional nuance, to speak with deliberate rhythm. Every morning, he led a curious fluency exercise beside the clocks. Listen first, repeat second, understand third, then speak naturally. The apprentices practiced sentences in measured rhythms. The mechanism moves with remarkable precision. Every deliberate pause strengthens communication. Fluency emerges through confident repetition. Tick, tick, tick. Gradually, their speech became smoother. Their hesitation faded. Words connected effortlessly, like perfectly aligned gears. And somewhere within the golden heart of the Great Escapement, the hidden rhythm continued, forever reminding all who entered that mastery is not achieved through force. It is achieved through harmony. So if your English sometimes feels frozen, if the right words disappear just when you need them, remember Elias Thorne and the missing gear. Perhaps the answer is not hidden in more vocabulary. Perhaps the answer is hidden in rhythm, listening, and the courage to let language flow naturally. Because fluency, like the finest clock ever built, is not powered by perfection. It is powered by motion. Thank you so much for watching Mumtahina's English Learning. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Don't forget to write your practice sentences in the comments below. I love reading them. Keep practicing, stay confident, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye.